Hello and welcome to NoCB, a grand strategy podcast. I am your host, TJ Hafer, and with me today is our fantastic panel, including Lambert.
Hello there.
And including Father Loris.
Hello.
And our special guest for this week, Aldrahill.
Hello.
And Aldra, since you're the guest, why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners, tell them what you do, let them know how you got into grand strategy games, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. I'm Aldrahill. I do like all kinds of strategy game videos, mostly Let's Plays, some edited stuff, but just kind of general assortment of things, mainly Paradox related. And I got into it through Paradox. I think CK1 was probably the first thing I played. And I played that to death, and then EU4 came out, and that just became my life, and I have 3k hours in it now.
Nice.
Filthy casual.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I saw your screenshot, Lambert, that you posted a little bit ago of your hours, so
Yeah.
just gonna leave that alone.
I think that's for the best.
Ungodly.
Oh, Meneth is here in chat. Hello, welcome, thanks for joining us. Caption bot is indeed crazy.
Always has been. That's kind of the point. We don't use it so that you can read what we're saying. We use it for the funnies.
Yeah, at this point, it's become more of a comedy sidekick than anything else. So I apologize for those of you that do rely on it to read what we're actually saying.
I just like it because it makes me look coherent, like in comparison.
Yeah, there you go.
Fair.
Yeah. Well, before we get into Dev Diaries, we actually have two big pieces of broader Paradox news this week that we want to discuss. The first one being that Johan Andersson, who is he's been the head of PDS forever. He was lead on EU4, Victoria 2, and Hearts of Iron 3.
Imperator.
And Imperator, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, yeah. He's starting a new studio in Barcelona called Paradox Tinto. I said I was kind of disappointed since they're Swedish and they moved to Iberia. They should have called it Paradox Visigoth.
Oh, that'd been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're going to be working currently on Europa Universalis. You know what they didn't say, like Europa Universalis 4, so I don't know if this team is going to be focusing on continued support for EU4 or if maybe they're working on EU5 or maybe both. We don't really know. But
That'll be cool. It's just like a whole new studio straight away. Just like it surprised me just for EU.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not the EU studio.
Yeah.
From what I've heard from some various Paradox people is he's been living there for like 3 years and having to commute back to Stockholm once a month is, I mean, as much as I like travel, that is probably too much air travel for me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Much of having to go through an airport every single time. It's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
It's not so much
with
the
the whole
airplane,
coronavirus thing as well.
Right,
Flights being a little bit more difficult, leaning on impossible.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, that says they're going to be focusing on grand strategy games, and right now particularly on the Europa Universalis franchise. So we will definitely be keeping up with whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
Probably be hearing a lot more about them on this show in the near future. I'll be curious to see kind of how their identity develops separately from the Stockholm-based Paradox Dev Studio. Because there always has been kind of a distinguishing line between Paradox Publishing and PDS. But now that we have two separate, at least nominally separate studios, both working on grand strategy, I think it'll be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this also kind of kills the rumor that Wiz is currently working on EU5.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, my thought about, I don't know if I said this last week, but they've been pretty open about the fact that PDS has had multiple projects in the last few years that have been canceled before they were even announced. After the heartbreak of Rune Master, for those of you that have been around long enough to
I remember that, yeah.
remember when Rune Master was going to be a thing, and then they totally pulled the plug on it. So it could be that whatever it was Chris King was working on, whatever it was Wiz was working on, is something that got canceled and they got moved elsewhere now. But
Rune King too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I respect the way that they're doing it now. Is like, all right, we're not going to announce anything until we're sure that it's actually going to be a thing. So, yeah. Yeah, the other big thing that came out in terms of the studio this week is that the employee unions at the Stockholm office reached a collective bargaining agreement with Paradox management. So they released a statement about that. Obviously, I think this is a great thing, giving employees a little more say over, negotiating salaries and things like that. I think when you have happy, well-compensated game developers, you get better games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's something that all of us as Paradox players should probably be rooting for. So congratulations to them on that, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, as a Welshman, if I didn't support somebody setting up a union, generations of my family would be just turning in their graves.
I'm from the northeast of England. Exactly the same story here.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I'm a Victoria 2 player, so I'm, of course, against all unions and any kind of organization.
Plus, you're a dirty southerner, so it's
exactly.
Like,
very true. Union busting, that's me.
Meneth was actually quoted in this. I think he's like a representative or something for the employee union. He might be able to tell us better since he's actually in chat. But I know he was heavily involved with this. So yeah, congrats to him as well for helping to see this all through.
Yeah. And from my understanding, it's been quite a while in the works. There's been a lot of work. So fair play to everyone who's put the effort in and set that up. So.
Yeah,
congratulations.
I mean,
don't worry
Paradox. Paradox has had such explosive growth, over the course of the last decade or so that something like this, probably needed to happen eventually when it went from being kind of a very small friends and family type company to the scale that it is now. You gotta have systems in place. You can't really necessarily take it for granted that everybody knows everybody and everybody is going to, be, this kind of tight knit, circle of people that smaller companies sometimes have. Meneth is saying in chat, I'm one of the representatives at Paradox for the union. I've been in negotiations for the collective agreement, though negotiations from the regional offices have done the heavy lifting on negotiations themselves. And he also says all our members at Paradox have been critical to making this possible. So yeah, good on you guys.
Congratulations.
Yeah, fair play.
All right, well, let's talk about...
I don't know how to pronounce that. That's the basically the part of a union that is Paradox is part of. Is that right? It's a part of a wider union?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Sweden has a fairly strong, labor relations history. So yeah, I would imagine that it's probably a larger regional or national thing that they're affiliated with, but I'm not sure on all the details. But in any case, let's talk about some dev diaries. And yes, Meneth is confirming they're big national unions and they have local chapters.
Sweet.
So starting with CK3, they did kind of a different format this week where they highlighted the decision system by showing us the lifetime of a single ruler and all of the decisions that this ruler makes and the toll that they had on him, as we can see in this first screenshot here.
Not much of a toll on his clothes or his hairstyle.
Yeah. Yeah, his hair hasn't really thinned out or anything, so he's got
luscious locks.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
His wife.
So this
too.
is This I would caption this photo me at the beginning of 2020 and me now.
Plans versus 2020, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the decisions. Yeah.
Like the difference between the picture of her in the hunt far from people and when she gets married. Like she's this coy, coquettish, hello my lord, to like just pure evil. Like in a picture in the just below it, she's like plotting.
Yeah. Well,
right.
you know, some people, they get a taste of power and then, you know, it just immediately goes to their heads. Yeah.
It's all in the eyebrows.
Yeah.
And the lighting. Gotta say, like, big props to, I don't know, the lighting engine for this, because, I mean, you can see she's outside, the lighting is fairly, you know,
it's like really
it's
good
all
natural
around
light.
her, ambient natural light, and then, obviously, she's in a great hall now, and the lighting is, you know, it's very dark, light's all coming from, like, one or two sources, it's a very yellow light. It looks really good.
Yeah. I also love the peasant clothing that they have in that event picture. The first picture of her looks very, very close to what I've seen in, you know, museums and reenactors of, you know, historical European clothing. And I can kind of tell, like what they said in the last Dev Diary, that because a lot of cultures are sharing clothing sets, they didn't want to make it too specific to any single one. So I can kind of see where they've made some tweaks there. But yeah, it does look like a very period accurate Northern European commoner's clothing.
Looks comfy.
Yeah.
Wasn't.
Probably not. So this Dev Diary is about the decision system. Are there any of the decisions that they highlighted, or even any of the ones that they didn't highlight, but that we got a peek at that you guys are especially excited about?
Work off some stress.
Yes.
I think that one's probably going to be pretty heavily used, depending on what kind of negatives come with it.
Well, it requires you. I think it requires you to have a certain trait. There's like one of the new god stats, or one of the new god traits that like everybody's gonna want to try to get. If you have a mental break from stress, there's a small chance that you'll actually take up a positive habit instead of a negative habit, and one of them is like exercising, which gives you a health boost and like lets you like go for like a run or something to work off stress. So yeah, that's really good if you can get that trait.
You'll turn into like one of those people who are like obsessed with their health and we just talk about nothing but their health.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh my goodness, have you done have you tried these new Pilates or whatever? It's like, I don't care, mate.
Medieval yoga.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you've got to try this
protein
new fruit
powder imported from China. Yeah.
What you do is you get the Black Plague and then you just fast for 2 months. It's great.
I'm sure nothing will go wrong. Yeah,
we go down with tavern and just drink smoothies. That's it. It's the worst.
Yeah. No, it's quinoa.
There's
Oh god.
There's another one that's called like Reveler or something. That's like every time you attend a social function, you lose some stress. So you can basically just be like a party boy, party girl. That's another
much
really
better. Yeah,
found a frat house,
yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there are some positive traits you can get from stress, but most of them are not great. Let's see.
I do find it interesting as well that High Chieftain Kelevi, it took him like 50 years to... He was 50 years old when he finally managed to get himself a kingdom. I don't know whether this is, this game was set up with the purpose of making sure that the character looked older and like it. They deliberately went slow for that reason, or if that is just the natural pace that you're able to expand. But yeah, no, that's interesting.
Release the Snyder cut of this Dev Diary. We have some questions.
Also,
I don't think it took him a full 50 years. Yeah.
I just want to point out, Kaljalainen, my next door neighbor is Kaljalainen.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty funny.
That's cool.
Descended maybe from this exact guy. Who knows?
Yeah, not 100%. Although I'm not in Karelia, so
he would be king still. But it's because he took 50 years to build one holy site. Defenders of Eco, they lost their kingdom.
Yeah.
I actually at one point went back to see like how far in line I would be for the British throne. Because I don't, I found out, my family found out that we're directly descended from, I think it's Henry II.
Basically, everyone is in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine probably, but yeah, it would be at least a few thousand people would have to die. So, if you get a letter from me about a plot of any kind, just keep it on the down low.
Don't worry, auto plots, no worries.
Well, I mean, a few thousand people. In the scale of, overthrowing monarchies, a few thousand people isn't actually that much.
Yeah, what is that?
For some monarchies.
It's like a small town, isn't it?
Yeah, come on.
Couple of villages, job done.
Yeah, exactly.
So
just group everyone in a direct line from the 12th century in one small village. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm King of England.
And what, just go through them like a TF2 spy, just one after each other.
Well, clearly you have to have a dueling ring with all 100 of them.
Oh, yeah. See, that would be great. Yeah.
Probably not, though. Probably wouldn't be great.
I mean, it would
Imagine
be
being
terrible,
the person who doesn't know they're 1,973rd in line to the throne. They just work a job and then they wind up waking up in like a battle royale situation.
Yeah. Right. Oh man. Yeah. So anything else about this particular dev diary before we move on?
We didn't learn much from it. There was not really anything new information-wise, but I still think it's kind of one of my favorite dev diaries because I really like the AAR style.
Yeah, that is cool. I mean, if it fits anywhere, it fits in Paradox with this beautiful little story. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Well,
and it makes sense for CK3 as well. I mean, it's a roleplay game, so give us roleplay.
Yeah. I also quite like we're not getting things removed. It's nice reinsurance, especially the pilgrimage system, which I still think is like one of the best things in CK2 is going on a pilgrimage, having that little text-based adventure journey. It's really nice. Yeah.
Right. And then, I don't know if they've talked much about Consecrate Bloodline yet, but it's basically, it's a replacement sort of for the Bloodline system in CK2, but it's tied to your dynasty. So everyone in your dynasty, when you exalt a bloodline, will just across the world automatically gain the benefits of that bloodline. It doesn't have to be descendants of a specific character. So it is more about the reputation of your house versus, I am a direct blood descendant of whoever, and so people are afraid of me or whatever the logic was in CK2.
The broader dynastic family choice, I think, is going to be really good for CK3. And I can just see it immediately in Game of Thrones mod, patriarchal of the wider Lannister family.
Yeah. For sure. And you can also strengthen the bloodline too after you've founded the bloodline. So there's a couple decisions relating to that. But we got also a very chunky EU4 dev diary this week. Chunky mostly in the sense that it's the entire patch notes for 1.3, which they've been working on for over a year. To get the obvious question out of the way, yes, I am going to do what the patch notes really mean for this. When I have time, which is probably early next week, should be when you should expect that. I'll try to get them out before the expansion actually launches. Because there's a lot. I want to see, what is the word count on this?
It's a lot.
It's like 1,000 lines, I think.
Just the bug fixes alone is really huge.
Yeah.
I mean, they did have a year to work on it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so...
But it is a very, very chunky one.
Word counter.
It's basically all the things that we've been told about over the past year.
Yeah. But we have got some reveals of some unit models, which is brand new.
I'm just scrolling down slowly. We'll get there eventually.
So in about 5 hours.
Very long.
this patch.
Sheffield.
Added
Well, that was
Sheffield
a mistake,
made the
wasn't
game. It says made the game playable. I missed that when I first read the notes. Who wrote this?
It's so the patch notes by themselves are almost 17,000 words. It's basically a novella. Like, I mean, if
literally unplayable spelling of Schützenfest is also fixed. Fixed various literally unplayable issues with aspect of faith.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff. I don't think any of us have read all of it yet.
No. I don't think I have.
Nobody got time for that.
Yeah, but we did get some very cool unit renders for all of the new units that are coming in the unit pack. So we get a new tier 3 and 4 for Germany, tiers 2 through 4 for Italy. We get a full set for Wallachia. We got a full set for Bosnia, Hungary, which now has my favorite unit model in the entire game. The Hungary tier 2 with the actual wolf pelt.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm pointing at the tier 1 for Hungary, saying
tier
that is
1 is
awesome.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's the tier 2. No, this guy, look at him.
Stylish.
Oh, but he doesn't have a wolf.
He's got that sort of weird phalange armor, that you'd see on a vampire count or something.
Yes.
It's really cool.
He does look like
strange that they didn't add that to the Wallachians.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah. I mean,
a
the
vampire
Wallachians
unit pack.
Yeah. I like the furry hats for the Wallachians for the first couple tiers.
Gotta keep it up.
Yeah.
True.
We got Savoy with their tier 2 Super Sentai infantry.
It's not Super Sentai. It's Mantis from.
It is
Black Manta. That's him. It's
yes.
Black Manta.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's definitely gonna go. Yeah, he's definitely gonna go try to rob a bank in some sort of pastiche of New York City. Yeah, yeah. And then we have Serbia, which they take a little bit of a step down in protective gear for sure between
those trousers.
I know. I was thinking
just
about
say this
very
guy,
70s, isn't it?
I
don't know if that's like tier 4,
1 Serbian. Definitely skipped leg day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Tier 4 is basically going to an ABBA concert, isn't he? That's what he's doing. Fighting the Battle of Waterloo, literally.
We do have some awesome mustache game going on across this pack though too. We got Sicily. Their tier 2 unit almost looks like a colonial unit. Like that looks like a pilgrim.
Or
like a 1600 American pilgrim or something to me.
I'm here to plunder. Yeah.
And let's see, did I skip
Sicilian
over
Minutemen?
Did I skip over Bosnia? Oh yeah, Bosnia was earlier on. The interesting thing I find about the Bosnian unit pack is that the later uniforms are definitely Ottoman inspired.
Yes.
Which is going to be interesting if Bosnia never gets conquered by the Ottomans in your campaign.
Well, it's
thankfully that's going to be fairly rare.
Yeah, probably.
But it's like the Ottoman units. Not Ottoman, sorry. The Byzantine units are kind of Ottoman inspired. And the way I kind of, think of it is there's going to be a lot of Turkish people there and a lot of Turkish cultural impact. So clothes might not change that much anyway, even if it didn't conquer it.
Fair enough.
It was still the culture was very dominant no matter what. I think even during the time of the late Byzantine rule, Byzantine emperors and stuff were wearing turbans because it was just fashionable. It was like that was the thing that people did.
I didn't actually know that. That's interesting.
I think when you've got a quite a large empire and it is slowly being chipped away at by a force that is clearly much more militarily superior to you, you're going to start copying them in some ways to see if you can stem the tide. Some Byzantine units being
culturally and militarily too.
Well, there's a fair few Ottoman sultans that were married into the Eastern Roman, dynasties and such. So, yeah, I mean, the cultural mixing there was pretty. It was going on quite a lot before 1453.
Yeah,
when the Roman Empire fell.
Fair enough. And then Switzerland, is the last one we get.
It's probably like a Biceboo, just like raging like mad, like that. Now it's like no. They were dressing like Roman Empire emperors until the collapse.
Where's my Lorica segmentata? Very long after it went out of fashion. Yeah, no, but where is it? I want it.
I think there actually is a Roman unit set in the game, isn't there? If you form Rome.
I think there is. Yeah.
It was added I want to say a couple patches ago, but I think there actually is. Let me see, Roman unit pack.
I think it was if you pre-ordered Imperator, you got it or something.
That's what it was. It was the pre-order bonus for Imperator. Yeah. Here, I can send this in chat if you don't have it already, Lambert.
I'm gonna see if I have it. Checking my packs.
I quite like it because it's like it's kind of dumb revivalism, It's not like it's not just a Praetorian. It's like it's as if somebody has gone back and gone, I want to mimic for Romans.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a Roman.
See, I don't have that because I didn't pre-order it. I got a copy from Paradox.
Oh yeah, of course, same here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have that. I did manage to get the Epirus pack though, but just purely by asking for it. Speaking of the Epirus pack though. No, wait, wrong dev diary. We're going on to someone else first. Damn it! That was going to be such a good segue.
Yeah, well, if you're interested in the Epirus pack, just you wait. There we go.
Yeah. Until after we talk about a different game.
Yeah. The new unit models I'm always excited for. The more variety we can have on the map in terms of unit models, the better. As far as I'm concerned. So yeah.
Yeah, same.
So those patch notes will be translated as soon as I can get around to them. Which it'll probably be early next week. But we also got the first Hoi 4 dev diary in a while today, because it was the 4th anniversary of Hearts of Iron 4, which man, it really does not feel like it's been 4 years since that game came out.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, it really doesn't feel like it's been 7 years since EU4. Like I boot it up and I'm like, oh, this it looks kind of a little bit dated, and then I have to remind myself that it's a 7-year-old game. So yeah. So as always, Podcat, Dan Lind, he loves graphs and numbers. So he's showing off. It really is kind of crazy how Hearts of Iron always seems to be the one PDS game that consistently has a growing player base over time. At least from the data that they've showed us. They broke a record for monthly active users after the most recent expansion came out. And it's just kind of been an overall upward trend. Country popularity now versus launch. Germany, the Soviets, and Italy have gone way down. France has gone way up. US and Japan are down. UK is up. The People's Republic of China has gone down significantly because it's almost impossible.
It's a good fun game though if you do it, man.
It is, but man, it's hard. Hungary has gone up by 184%.
I wonder what triggered that.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see the stats on if anyone goes anywhere apart from restore the what's it called, Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Right, yeah. Germany has remained the most popular major to play, which I think kind of makes sense from the point of view of if you want a challenging game as a major power where you still have a chance, they're sort of positioned well for that.
And they've been kept fresh, like adding the Imperial stuff is basically, I love playing Germany as the Imperial.
Yeah, I wish I could go back and play it all again, not having years of experience in the game. So that was the best time. when it was just new.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was good.
The trick is to just, be an idiot like me, and then you never get any
Why didn't I
better.
try that?
And it's always you always go into a game like you've just first time playing it, like every single time.
Yeah.
Or do like me, skip a few DLCs and then come back and wonder what the hell is going on. Why? What is this with ships? I've got Oh God, no!
I still barely understand the ships, to be honest.
Oh man, I sat down and learnt ships by watching. I think it was Mordar's videos.
Mordred, yeah, he's got.
Yeah, Mordar's, and now I just can't get enough of them. I love ships. It's just there's nothing more satisfying than having like a really great navy and smashing.
I need to watch those videos because we just always joke in our multiplayer game that nobody understands how navies work, so it doesn't really matter because we're all just kind of guessing. So yeah, I could probably dominate pretty easily if I figured that out better. But more important than any of the other numbers in this dev diary is that we're now up to 77 distinct tanks and armored vehicles. With their first of all, they're making all of the tanks from the Kernel Edition, which was available at launch, free now. So they've stopped selling the Kernel Edition, which was like the special pay us $15 more and we'll give you some extra stuff edition that like every game does now. But yeah, they're adding a new allied tank pack. They're adding what seems to me to
that
be
French tank. The one with the big noggin in it. It's just
exactly.
amazing.
I was gonna say it looks like an elongated like Napoleonic field artillery mounted on like a piece of construction equipment.
It is, yeah.
Like, I don't know what is this, a tank destroyer? Is this self-propelled artillery? I don't know what I'm looking at here.
It's a transport for the barrel to retrofit your naval vessels with new naval guns.
Okay, there you go. Or no, maybe we're getting it wrong. Maybe that's not a gun. Maybe that's a giant club. And so that like they're adding the ogre ram. They're adding the ogre kingdoms to Hearts of Iron 4 because Total Warhammer is taking too long. So that's just going to be a truck that carries their clubs to the battlefield, and then they can, grab them off of there and just whack people with them.
Gotta get through the Tiger Tank's armor somehow.
Yeah.
What was that? There was a game. It was like kind of like Total Annihilation. Maybe it was the sequel to Total Annihilation. But there was that ship that could walk on land with big legs. That one?
Supreme Commander? Is that what you're thinking?
Supreme Commander. Yeah. It's basically that, isn't it?
Spiritual successor to Total Annihilation. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. How many of these tanks can you guys actually name? I'm curious. Because I can't name any of them.
Oh, zero. I don't know anything about
I can
them.
name two of them, the Bishop and the Churchill.
Oh, yeah, the Churchill I recognize, yeah.
Specifically the Mark 11.
Oh,
but no,
bow down.
No, it's just because it's got the little stubby gun. That was the 11 thing. But honestly, none of the others really. That's a Sherman, right? That's got to be some kind of Sherman, but I don't know which one.
I'm trying.
Yeah, the one on.
Just figure it out.
I figured someone in chat would probably be able to rattle these off. But,
naturally, it's somebody called Space Panzer. Naturally.
Oh, it is the Priest. Yeah. It's the M7 Priest. I know they're from Steel Division. God damn it. I should have known that.
Oh, yeah. See, I need to play more Steel Division. That's the problem.
This is merely a Ford Model T with a gun on the back.
Yeah.
This is just a tractor.
Yeah. But yeah, more unit models. Like I said with the U4, I'm always all for it. The more it adds to the variety of the battlefield. Space Panzers calling more shots. The last French one is the UE-57.
If he recalls correctly.
Yeah. Right.
You could recall incorrectly. We wouldn't be able to call you out on it anyway.
Is the American one the M3? I can't. The third one, I can't tell. I'm trying to figure out.
Apparently, it's the M16 truck.
God damn it! I was like 13 M's off.
Oh yeah, Bucktown knows his stuff. He paints miniature airplanes and things like that. So I would trust.
How can we compete?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. So we're getting new tanks. There's not a lot of new mechanical news. Oh, they also announced the Allied Speeches pack as well. That'll add some famous actual recorded speeches to the game, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be... Oh, it's beautiful. I think playing the Allies and having the Churchill speeches going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Oh, and they did get a little bit... I actually didn't scroll down far enough to see this when I was looking over this for the show, but 1.9.3, they're going to be doing some naval tech rebalancing and some changes to convoys. So you can't stun lock enemy transport troops.
Yeah, and sub-countering too, yeah, because...
Yeah. Oh yeah, submarines are so good right now.
Yeah, if you get the really, really good. Is it snorkels? The second tech along that line, and it's just like, well, unless you have an entire fleet of dedicated sub-hunters, your navy's dead, and you have nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Or at least not dead, just really annoyed.
Yes, that's true. And you get a lot of notifications. You can't do anything.
Yeah, and just everything's stun locked, basically, by these subs that are everywhere.
Yeah. So I'll miss the submarine meta because I do like some submarines, but yeah, they probably did need to change that.
I mean, they ban meta games ban that tech. You're not allowed if you play a meta Hoi game. You're not allowed to have it.
Valid Chat was asking if it was including Stalins or just a Westernized. I think it's just a Western Allies.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not showing it here.
I would imagine that Paradox would probably not include Stalin speeches in their game.
Yeah. They can just
there's a reason there's a reason they're not doing an Axis speeches pack, as we were discussing before the show.
Yeah.
I think they'd take a little bit of flack for that, but yeah.
I mean, there is 70 minutes already, so like, you just be happy with what you've got, and go play the Brits.
I think it's also the English language too, because there's no French either.
I mean, in fairness though, we've only got Churchill, Chamberlain, Eisenhower, MacArthur, and Roosevelt here on this list. There's probably more than that, I would imagine.
Agamede is saying they mentioned a Stalin speech. Check dev replies. That would be interesting. If let me see. Let me just Control F Stalin, which I already have hotkeyed. So, yeah, actually, podcast says Stalin is in there as well as Zhukov.
Interesting. Okay.
Well,
fair play.
Yeah.
I think Trotsky had like an English language speech when he was in exile. I don't know. Yeah. That's definitely not in the game, but still. Interesting thing if you want to listen to a bit of history.
Nothing from de Gaulle because of copyright stuff. Which, I mean...
De Gaulle's copyright?
Well,
really?
I mean, every country's got their own copyrights on the different speeches. I mean, if Churchill aired on the BBC, then would they have the copyrights for it? Every country's different. You got to kind of... it's, like you said, it's a quagmire. The fact that they've got 70 minutes of it already is already really impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
I think like French copyright law is a bit of extra quagmire anyway. Isn't it kind of illegal to take a picture of the Eiffel Tower or something?
Yeah, no, it's something like that,
yeah. I mean, there's also like the law versus what's enforceable. Kind of
absolutely.
Go after and
which is 90% of copyright, right?
There's complete expectation of privacy in French law, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. So this is going to be our new spin-off podcast about Frankish Codex law versus English common law. Bringing on my friend DM Schmeier, actual lawyer, to talk about because I think it's like Louisiana, like even though it's a state in the U.S. which uses English common law, they actually use French Codex law within the state of Louisiana or like within certain parishes, which is got to be like a jurisdictional nightmare.
Yeah.
It's basically the difference between we're going to write down all the laws, or we're going to write down some laws and then we're going to use past court cases to determine what the fuzzy bits, how to handle that, which is how
it's all precedent.
English in the U.S. system works. But,
I didn't know U.S. law was based on English.
Oh, yeah.
Law, but I guess it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty directly based on English common law. So Azoth96 is asking the real questions. Is it illegal to take a picture of the Eiffel Tower in Louisiana? I think if you can take a picture of the Eiffel Tower from Louisiana, there would probably be physicists who want to speak to you. I don't think you'd get arrested for
I mean,
that.
you can take a picture of it in Las Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
You can't take a picture of
like a really long lens.
I think,
and since we've previously established on our podcast that the Earth is flat anyway,
right?
It's fine. So
yeah, this is a flat Earth
I
podcast.
remember about the French copyright law with regards to the Eiffel Tower. Isn't it copyrighted to the architect?
Oh wait,
the Eiffel Tower?
Isn't the lights or something?
Oh
as well?
no, it is the lights.
Yes, the light design.
Is it Tom Scott video on it, or someone
I'm thinking
like
the Tom Scott video. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
what a guy.
Yeah,
legend.
Yeah,
that's a great
videos.
Great channel.
Videos.
Yeah,
You should just stop listening to this. Go watch him.
Yeah,
he's also got a podcast. Next week's guest, Tom Scott.
I would totally invite him on if he wanted to be on the show. But,
Hell yeah.
We'll just talk about nothing but like Paradox games.
Yeah.
Not even anything to do with copyright.
Yeah, and then the week after that's going to be CGP Grey. The week after that, we're just going to get like all the big like multi-million history and geography YouTubers on here. You get the Geography Now guy on here. Anyway, so I don't have a good transition for this, but remember when we said Epirus was going to be important later?
Rewind a little moment, and now go forward, and boom, we're
there we go. So
you can tell we miss Rose.
Yeah. We got a pretty substantial Imperator Dev Diary this week about cultural decisions and the fact that they're finally going to be making the elusive Epirus flavor pack available to people who didn't get it on launch. Lambert, why don't you lead us off on this one?
Well, the Epirus pack at launch was just a few event chains, mostly revolving around Pyrrhus, going to stay with the Antigonids, and then coming back to beat off a rebellion, or not a rebellion, but like a usurpation, and that was basically it. It wasn't so deep, but they're going to be adding some mission trees, like they have for Rome, Carthage, etc. They're going to be adding some mission trees to that, and if you do already have the Epirus pack, you won't have to pay for it, which is nice. I believe it's going to be. I think it might be free for everyone. I actually don't know though. No, it won't be.
I don't.
If you pre-ordered the game last time, you will get it for free.
Got it.
And then, also we've got some more stuff about culture as well. Showing off before we had the wireframe of it, but now we actually have what the culture screen is going to look like as well, it's looking pretty clean, pretty nice.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of the way that cultural interactions are working in Imperator now seems almost parallel to the way they're changing interactions with estates in the EU4 patch, where like you can grant them specific privileges and stuff like that. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, so you'll have a different set of decisions based on whether it's a primary culture, an integrated culture, or a non-integrated culture. They showed off like some of the things you can do is, you can create colonies of a specific culture to kind of like help culture bomb, I guess, specific areas, which a lot of the empires in this time period did.
Basically, like if you conquer a whole Persian Empire, build a city, call it after yourself, and then transport a bunch of people from your homeland there, and now you've got a city with your culture that will spread your culture around a little bit. Obviously, you can't rename cities in the game yet, but maybe in the future. I do like as well a lot of the Diadochi are going to start with things like, well, for the Seleucids, for example, they've got Babylonian and Persian already as integrated cultures, which makes sense because if they don't, they're probably going to immediately explode. So I quite like that. The one thing that I was a little bit worried about, I think I've said it before on the podcast, is that there's going to be some cultures that you are never going to want to integrate because they're just too small, and there's some that are going to be insta-integrate because they're so big. So I was worried that these small cultures are going to have absolutely nothing to do with them. Like, you're going to completely ignore them. You're never going to interact with them whatsoever. But they're adding these cultural decisions in, and there's a few different decisions that you can make for every single one of the cultures in your empire. Things like municipal self-rule would create a city-state vassal of their culture, making the entire culture a bit more happy. And then you've lost one city, but the rest of that culture in your entire empire is a lot happier, which might help integrate them a little bit easier. Who knows? There's also apparently some decisions that will help integration. That culture bombing one is apparently another cultural decision. So it's just like there is more things to do with culture. It's more interactive, more you can do stuff with it, which is nice. Yeah. Even if they're small cultures.
Right. I think Wombat Steve's asking how do you actually integrate a culture? I think they went over that in one of the previous dev diaries. Is it like a stability? Is it a stability cost? I'm trying to remember.
So what you have here, like we've got Carthage here, and at the moment the only integrated culture is the primary culture of Punic. If you wanted these Massilians to be an integrated culture, you would be able to set their pop rights or their pop level. At the moment, Massilians are only able to promote up to freemen. In this image, if you were to set that to citizens or nobles, they would then begin to be integrated into your culture. It's a process. It doesn't happen instantly, and during the process there are a number of events and decisions that you need to take that may end up being quite detrimental in some cases. Stability loss would probably be one that happens relatively frequently. But you can handle it in a various different ways, and at the end of it, then you'll have the Massilians as part of your integrated culture list, and they will all have the same happiness modifiers and as your primary culture. So in this case, it'd be 30%. Apart from, you would get negative 5% for having one integrated culture. It's negative 5 for every single integrated culture that you have. Which can be pretty detrimental, but there's also quite a few different ways to boost cultural happiness, either through these decisions or through your inventions. There's a bunch of different ways that you can increase that, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem if you don't go insane and integrate everybody.
I'll be interested to see if it's possible to create something with this new system. Like if you're a Germanic tribe that migrates down into like Gaul or Italy or something, to just have all of your original population, which will be in the minority, to just be like a noble ruling elite. Like they're pretty much just nobles and citizens, and then all of the other people that you've conquered, are limited to, I don't know, freemen or something, which happened in history. Fairly,
I don't see any reason that wouldn't be possible. That's
regularly, yeah.
You go and conquer them. Your culture is already at the noble level. You'd just be able to set the newly conquered cultures. Say you're going to attack Rome. you make the Romans only be able to upgrade to the freeman level. Any pops that are Roman that are citizens or nobles will over time demote to freeman, and job done, really. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be super stable, but it'd be interesting to see.
No, for sure not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to play around with this. I'm glad that they're treating culture with such like a high degree of interactability. I don't know if this is going to be my update. I don't know if this is like specifically what I want them to be pushing forward with Imperator, of all the things they could be pushing forward with, but I think it will be an improvement for sure.
Well, I think what they're aiming for is a foundation, and
right.
I mean the foundation of the game is the pops and the characters. So making the pops and the characters really work as they want them, and then as they're making new systems later on with like the Autumn of War and whatever, having those mechanics now link back into what they're happy with, that kind of makes sense that they would start with this in that way.
Yeah. Well, I also like that they pointed out that there are now going to be ways over time to increase the base happiness of your integrated cultures. So sort of as your tech progresses, I don't remember if it's civic or oratory, that you will eventually be able to integrate more cultures later on in the game. You're not going to be stuck with, the same number of, I really have to be careful about overextending citizenship because it's going to make everybody mad at me. Eventually, you'll be able to work towards a more egalitarian setup if you want to, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with what they've shown. There's nothing that I'm unhappy with this dev diary. It's all just good stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's very much like I feel like the culture stuff so far for me has been like, yeah, this is definitely an improvement, and this is going to be really cool. I don't think it's going to completely change Imperator for me. Like, I don't think it's going to really change, the way I play in like a huge significant way, but it'll be nice.
Yeah. That's how I reacted to it. It was just, that's neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully all adds up to something good, though.
Right. Like sometimes you'll read a dev diary and it's like, oh man, this is going to be the coolest thing ever. And, this didn't give me that vibe necessarily. But yeah, there's no part about it that I don't like. There's no part where I'm like, oh yeah, they shouldn't add that. That's a bad feature.
Yeah.
So
it's moving in the right direction.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, is there anything else about Imperator before we move on that you guys wanted to make sure we hit?
Just one more thing with the map mode. If you want to see where all of the Massilian cultures are in the map, whether they are the primary culture of a territory or just a little tiny part of the territory, then you can do that by just selecting your Massilians and then clicking the culture button at the top, and it'll bring you to this screen where I'll show you where all of the Massilians live, even if they're not primary. And I think this image is actually old because now it does scale based on how big a percentage of the territory they are in it. I think they say that in the dev comments.
Yeah, that's going to be so useful. The current live patch version of the culture map mode is not adequate for the kind of information that I would like to be able to get from it, for sure. So
I think it probably would have been better if for this image they actually used what's the Hebrew pops, because you start with Hebrew pops in quite a few capital cities across the world,
including Rome.
I know Rome starts with them. We've got Pella starts with them. Athens, all these kind of places all start with Hebrew pops. So it would have been interesting to have that map mode open for them rather than just Massilians. They live in Massilia. Cool.
Yeah. Well, also, I don't know if they if they were talking about this at all, but I would love it if they would please add the feature that EU4 has where like you go into culture map mode and everything is colored by culture group, but then if you click on a specific culture, it will turn all of the individual cultures in that culture group different colors. So you could actually tell the difference between like Roman and like Sabine or whatever. Like that would be amazing if they would do that. Because yeah, like the big Gaulish blob, you can't tell where anything stops and starts in there.
Yeah, very true.
It's just all
although it will be easier
soup.
now that they have split the Gallic cultures into a few different types. Like they've got the Noric ones, we've got the Gallic ones.
Yeah.
I think there's a third one, I forget the name of it. It's like the Belgian area.
That's probably it, yeah.
But it's still it's quite difficult. There's no border line. There's nothing other than where the names happen to be that show you where they are.
Right.
So that would be nice.
For sure. Well, that's all the Paradox Dev Diaries for this week, but we did get some additional Total War news this week too, including a trailer for Total War Saga Troy, and the announcement that it is going to be launching for free for the first 24 hours on the Epic Store. Which we'll talk about right after we share this with you guys. Or if you're listening to the podcast later on SoundCloud, we'll just go straight into it. But yeah, so Total War Saga Troy, it's going to be releasing for free for 24 hours on the Epic Store. Not sure how I feel about that. I mean, Thrones of Britannia was notoriously kind of a mess. So I don't know if that speaks to their like wanting people to, give it a chance, and that's why they're doing this. Or, if they're not confident that it would sell well otherwise. I don't really want to speculate too much, but
yeah, I'm concerned for it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a free Total War game, so
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I have no way.
Yeah,
I think this is fantastic news because it's free, and I love free things. Like you could come to my house with just a big steaming pile of feces, and if you gave it for me for free, I would take that gladly.
It would be useful for your sheep and your horses and all of the other animals that seeming to invade you every other week.
It was just a sheep this week.
No, it was just a sheep this week. It was horses a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm slowly doing my rounds of every single member of Noah's Ark. Like scorpions come to my house next.
Oh, well, I've got the mosquitoes, so my foot feels like it's falling off. Got bitten by a mosquito yesterday, and I'm allergic to Finnish mosquitoes. They're horrifying.
Finnish mosquitoes separately, like distinctly
well, I mean,
terrible?
it's just a different species, isn't it? And this one I'm particularly allergic to. But anyway, that's completely beside the point. Let's talk about Total War Troy.
I was going to say, I've got a very grim story about a mosquito bite, but it's probably not safe for work. So let's move on.
So you're in favour, Loris. TJ, what are you?
I mean, I'm going to take a wait and see approach with it, I guess. I mean, it's any new Total War game. I'm definitely going to give it a shot. Yeah. I can speculate all day about why they made this particular business decision. You can say, there are people on Reddit and on the forums already saying, oh, it's going to be terrible. That's why they're giving it away, and they know it's going to be terrible. And it's like, well, we'll see when it comes out, I guess. I mean, that's my job, is to play strategy games and tell people if they're good or not. So
I think they're giving it away because Epic have paid them such a colossal amount of money for the year's exclusive that they can afford to. So I don't think they're doing it because they know it's going to be shit. Yeah. The reservations that I had from last week, they still exist. Yeah. My big concern with this week's announcement is Total War games, just like Paradox games, really thrive on their modding community, and Epic Games has not really got the infrastructure for that, and I think the game is going to suffer horribly for not having that modding community.
Yeah, well, and they said it's a 1-year exclusive, right? So that's a pretty significant amount of time to not have mods. I mean, I guess you'll be able to still download them from like forums and stuff like that and install manually.
Yeah, let's all go to TW Center, sure.
Oh yeah. I miss it so much. Like every day, I'm just looking for an excuse to go back there.
Oh my god! The Pontus meme it's going to be for Epic Games Launcher now, isn't it?
It literally is. Which one of you sent me that? One of you sent me the Pontus meme, but it was for
Rome 2's pre-order DLC was Pontus. Yeah.
Yeah. Where was who sent me that? I thought it was someone from this show, but it could have been.
I think, I definitely sent it a long time ago.
You know what? It was Valorgain. Yeah, no, it was Valorgain who's currently in chat. One sec. Let me see if I can send this to you, Lambert, so you can pull it up on the screen. Or post it in the war room.
There we go.
Yeah.
I don't
want to play for free.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
I've never quite understood this sort of this for Epic Game Store, to be honest. I get the the modding side of things. There's no Steam Workshop equivalent, but I don't know, it's more competition in the market. It's not healthy for Steam to be just a monopoly on game distribution, right?
I mean, for me, it's slightly annoying to have one more launcher that I open, but I don't really put a lot of stock in that. Oh, it's part owned by Tencent, so they're sending your blood to the Chinese Communist Party or whatever. I don't think that's a thing, but
I don't. Yeah. I certainly don't care about the launchers because what I've got, we've got Uplay, we've got Origin, we've got BattleNet.
Uplay, Origin.
Oh man!
Uplay is an absolute
remember Windows games.
Oh yeah, I don't like.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that.
Especially the ones where you'll buy Assassin's Creed on Steam and then it makes you log into Uplay anyway.
Oh, I hate those. But I don't play Assassin's Creed anyway because reasons.
Well, you have to do it for Anno, and Anno's actually a fantastic game. And basically, if you like Paradox games, you're probably going to like that.
Yeah.
Valorgain is pointing out in chat that the new GOG Galaxy will let you launch games from multiple launchers. So that might be a way around that. If you want.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So
I always like GOG because I know it's good old games, but basically in Wales it's what we call North Walians. It's a sort of insult. So a GOG Galaxy is all I'm imagining is a bunch of North Walians distributing games
on the cheap off the back of a truck kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. In their farmer suits, speaking Welsh.
Yeah.
Here, take this game for free before the sheep get it.
That's it. Yeah.
Nice.
It fell off the back of a baler.
Like I said, it's purely for the modding issue. I don't know how many modders are going to be interested in modding for it when they have to go through, firstly, Epic instead of the Steam Workshop, which is the best part of Steam. They've got the TW Center and ModDB and Nexus and all those different things. And mods are probably going to be there as well. But the Steam Workshop is just so easy to use nowadays.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I just fear it's going to have a little bit of an impact.
Yeah, I mean, if Epic really wants to be long-term competitive, get some better mod support on your platform. Go for it.
Yeah. Don't make us use fucking Nexus because nobody likes using Nexus.
No, especially
you have to log into your account, and by the way, you probably have to do all these really annoying loopholes to get into your account, and also do time off against it.
And it's
and all you want to do is download a 2 kilobyte text file. It's so
and
annoying.
Then you've got to download another
Nexus
launcher so you can use the Nexus Mod Manager. Yay!
And Witcher 3 now requires 4 different executables to get everything installed. You need the Nexus Mod Manager, but then you also need the Witcher 3 Mod Manager, which is a separate thing because apparently Nexus mods can't modify the interface or something weird like that. And then you need to install a script extender and then run this other executable that goes through all of your mods and make sure that there's no scripting conflicts, and there always are, and it doesn't tell you how to fix it. I have a really, really good modded copy of The Witcher 3 right now, but it was a day of work, like pain in the ass work to actually get it to the point that I wanted it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's the problem too. It's like we put all that. I do that with Skyrim sometimes.
Yeah.
I go, I want to play some Skyrim. I'll install some mods. Spend about 4 weeks like installing mods, and then I finally get around to like booting up Skyrim, and I realize I don't actually want to play it anymore. Like I've spent all this time.
Or it just
you get
crashes.
to the first time. Yeah, something crashes on it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Colossal mod conflict. And a quest is bugged. You can't progress. Yeah. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
We're very lucky with Paradox and the modding scene there is pretty easy.
Yeah.
Although I will say for Total War as well, Total War Warhammer 2 mods are awesome.
I just wish they would find a way to allow map mods. We need map mods in modern Total War games. Imagine 100%. What they could do with map mods for Total Warhammer. Like somebody probably would have added.
That'd be so good.
Cathay by now.
Oh yeah. Total War Warhammer 3 wouldn't be necessary.
Yeah, maybe that's
exactly.
why.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Maybe that's just why they're not doing it, because they want to sell it off.
Yeah.
Definitely with Darklands probably going to be second.
It'd be nice if after...
Imagine if they expand the other way, like go to Cafe via Lustria and don't have the
just have a cylindrical world, just like in the EU game, the Paradox games.
Oh my god, I would love that. But obviously, that's
go the opposite way around. It'd be great.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of all the news for this week. This time next week, E4 Emperor will be out, and last week we talked with Zlevik a little bit about what we were planning on doing with it. Aldra, do you have any playthroughs that you're like really excited about with Emperor coming out?
With Emperor, I wanted to try and do the Knights with the Kingdom of Jerusalem stuff, because they've added quite a lot with that. But also, this is one of those DLCs that has so many new mission trees and like very country-specific events that I actually have a whole document of different things to play, and it's like 15 different games, and I gotta pick. I don't know. I think I'm gonna play Knights in France probably.
Yeah. I'm thinking about I don't know, like Teutonic Order would be interesting now with the new mechanics, because like I'm trying to think. I mean, that one thing we as like content creators always have to think about is like, what is everyone else going to be doing? Like I feel like everyone's going to be doing Bohemia, everyone's going to be doing Dithmarschen, so it's like for my personal time, I'll probably play those countries, but I don't know if I would play them for like a series, just because it's going to be, another Bohemia game.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to think about if I want to do some videos for it, which I'm 90% sure I will. What would be kind of interesting and a little bit out there, but still take advantage of the expansion mechanics.
It's a balance you got to play. If you do something that's got new mechanics, chances are another 12 people are doing the same thing. But if you do something that no one's playing, then chances are you're probably not going to be experiencing many new mechanics. So it's kind of iffy.
I mean, to some degree, this patch is changing everything for everyone. Like just with the estate rework, that's going to be like, even if I play in Thailand, like things are going to be different.
I love they're changing the estates. It looks so much more like mayo and taxes, and I mean that's just a good thing in general.
Really, are you a fan of mayo and taxes? Is that
just a smudge? You really weren't asking me.
No, not at all. Barely, right? Barely.
Yeah, no, I
couldn't
barely
it.
played it.
I just couldn't do it. I sucked.
I need to hop back in it. It's been ages since I played it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for
3.0 eventually. What else have you guys been playing? Any Warhammer adventures? Anything else to report on from the wild world? Yeah,
I played
Are you doing
just for me?
Are you doing any of the Monarch challenges, or are you just kind of doing whatever?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. I was doing Harald Hardrada.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's come really weird because I've never had it before. I've got a demon spawn son, which has never happened. It's a whole event chain. He's murdered all his siblings. I had 10 kids.
Yeah.
It's great.
Wow.
He is so good. He's like 30s in stats. I can't wait for him to kill me and take over.
Yeah, it's weird. I haven't been able, like, since I got to play CK3, I have not been able to go back to CK2. Like, it just feels like a less appealing game to me now. I've been cursed.
TJ just flexing
Yeah,
the rest of us.
I haven't played CK3, and I don't really feel the desire to go and play CK2 when I know, but this is changing and it looks so much better in the new one.
Yeah.
I've got the paradox, but for a game rather than a DLC.
Yeah. Like, I do want to get the Monarch's Journey achievements because, like, I'm one of those people who's, like, OCD to the point that I'm like, yes, I will pay you $10 extra just to make sure I have access to all of the hairstyles. Like, that is the kind of person that I am. So I do feel like I need to go in and like grind those out. But
I like the goals, the specific goals that it tasks you with, and then I forget about them because I make my own and I get kind of into it. Like, I've completely abandoned the things I'm supposed to be doing, like killing as many Godwins as possible as Howard Hardrada. I'm just enjoying the game.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn on it because I do like the idea. It's nice to have these like little mini achievements with rewards in CK3, but I know I only ever play games multiplayer, and I know none of my friends would be doing that because unlike me, they've normally got lives. But so if I get some fancy hair in CK3, no one else is going to be able to see my fancy hair. It's just going to be me. So. Unless
it's that rush of endorphins you get when you get that extra hairstyle, and you're like, yeah, and then it goes away.
And like that.
Oh my god, it's like Overwatch.
Yeah, well, and like that final one, like the highest level unlock for Monarch's Journey. That's a nice looking hairstyle. Like I want that hair. I want that hair in real life. So yeah.
I have been playing a bit of CK2 though because it hasn't been very well publicized, but Geheimnisnacht has been updated, which is probably one of my all-time favorite mods for CK2.
You're going to have to spell that.
I don't even know how to spell it. I don't even know if I pronounced it.
I googled Warhammer and it came up straight away, so there we go.
Yeah.
I haven't played this mod.
Yeah. It's really, really fun.
Good. I'm not really a Warhammer guy.
You're a heretic.
I'm sorry, I never got into it.
Well, you're not invited back on the podcast. No, I'm just
I never got into it.
Yeah.
Play it and just play as an orc, because it's just most fun.
Done. I'll do that.
Thing in the world.
Yeah.
Go and smash and
the
stuff.
other mod news, that looks good. That looks very good.
That's somebody's middle of their campaign. I don't know who this person is, but go sub to Imminent Storm, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
Jade Imperium.
Yeah, the entire West being united indicates to me that's probably not the start date.
Yeah, no, and I don't recognize the Jade Imperium either.
I think they own the Empire too, by the looks of it.
Oh yeah,
find a proper one.
Yeah. Well, they also Old World Blues just released a dev diary on their map extension for Texas and Oklahoma for their next big patch.
Oh, I missed that.
That's the Fallout mod for Hearts of Iron 4, which I highly recommend.
Yeah. Same here. It's a really lovely.
Yeah, especially the 3.0 update seems like it's going to be adding a lot of cool new stuff. So, yeah,
check it out. It's very fun. Very fun. Great playing Caesar's Legion and just having hordes of trash that you throw at people. People with sticks fighting power armor.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I was hoping they would have some images.
For Geheimnisnacht?
Yeah, on their release page, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Do they have a Steam store
I mean, bless
page?
them. They make an absolutely fantastic mod, but they're just terrible at advertising and marketing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the case with a lot of mod teams. I think they tend to have a lot of people with a lot of technical and artistic skill and not a lot of people with marketing and communication skills on their teams. So
that's a shame because it's incredibly high quality. They've just set up a Twitter. I messaged the fella who's going to be in charge of community management sort of thing of a mod. And yeah, he set up a Twitter, but
have they mentioned at all if they have plans to eventually port the mod to CK3?
I don't know, actually.
I really hope they do.
We haven't really had a lot of mod developers on. We should definitely have, the Mayo and Taxes guys. We should have the Geheimnisnacht guys. I should see if I can. Definitely, if he still exists, I should try and see if I can get in touch with some of the CK2 Game of Thrones guys. I think.
Yeah, man.
Their main developer has not really been around a lot lately.
But they are going to CK3, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if they weren't going to make a Game of Thrones mod for CK3, somebody would. Like, that's
riots
like an inevitability.
More than there are already. There are already.
Yeah.
Is that still like very popular after the finale? Like, I thought it kind of fell off the radar.
I haven't played it since before that, but I will go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. I think Game of Thrones will kind of come back around to just being kind of like a cult phenomenon. It kind of blew its shot at being mainstream, but people who like the books still really like the books. And as Valorgain points out, playing the mod lets you correct the finale.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, very true.
You could have a long list of people who have a better story than Bran the Broken.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Although I'm still in the camp of the worst season being season 5.
That's
a
correct take.
Season 5, really? What, worse than season 7 and 8? Really?
Absolutely, 100% without a shadow of a doubt.
It
had the worst acting, the worst directing, the worst writing. I think I said that twice, but it deserves it. I can get very passionate about this argument if you want.
No, that was the Sand Snake season, right?
That's garbage.
Yeah, Sand Snakes.
Yes, that is when I stopped watching
the season
it.
With
that
the
was when I went,
I envy you.
Oh, the marriage and the... Oh, no. I'm reading the description of it and just going, oh, no, the memories of this suck.
Yeah, and that was the season with, I think, possibly the dumbest episode of the entire series, where Asha Greyjoy, or Yara, or whatever they wanted to call her, sails around the world with the hardest men in the Iron Islands, and then they see a shirtless man and some dogs and decide to just turn around and go home.
They literally go around the world. They sail across. It would take them like a year.
Yeah. That was
it took them half an episode, mate. What are you talking about? Oh my god, I hate that season so much.
Yeah,
I mean that's not even the worst of it.
Season 7 had some really good episodes. Like season
Don't
7
say Battle
overall,
of the Bastards. Do not say that fucking episode.
But like Jaime Lannister charging the dragon with a fucking lance, like that was badass. Like
stupid as hell. Like why the hell was it's just so stupid?
Because it looks cool.
It's my problem. Everything looks cool. Like Battle of the Bastards looked really good, I thought.
Yeah.
In many parts of it, wonderful, like an interesting take on a battle, but like stood back more than like one pace. You go, hang on. This doesn't make any sense at all. Nothing. What's going on?
Well, and like season 7 had Olenna Tyrell with like I want her to know it was me. Like that was a really good scene. Like
and down the poison. Just
have. That's all they've got though is like moments, and they're jumping from moment to moment instead of having a cohesive story.
What's this? Right. A massive fortress that's never been taken? Oh, and we captured it instantly. We win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think things started to go off the rails. Like that's season 2, actually. I think as soon as what's his face and the other fella, D or whatever.
The other fella.
yeah. Well,
David Benioff and Dan
they
Weiss.
had a really successful first. That's the one. Yeah, they had like a successful first season, and then their ego got, and they thought, "Oh, I can write better than George R.R. Martin," and they couldn't.
No.
And they started to write like independent little things. It started with Aya like doing something completely different in. What's the name of the castle?
Oh, Harrenhal.
Harrenhal, which wasn't too bad,
there was some really good elements there. There were some nice scenes that didn't make sense as a broader context, but they were still good.
The The Arya,
it was good, but you could see like things like starting to go for range, and they also completely missed the mark on Stannis' character.
Yes. Right, season 1, they're talking about Stannis being a character in season 2, and they said during season 1 that Stannis Baratheon is not a good guy. He's a bad guy in an interview. And I'm like, there are no good guys and bad guys in this story.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Point.
Make sure you subscribe to our Game of Thrones complaining podcast. We'll be back next week.
Agamede says this is the Free Folk podcast now. Yeah, pretty much.
Yes. Right. Okay. Free Folk subreddit was made 3 days after the second episode of season 5. And now the Free Folk subreddit is all about, season 8 is so bad. No, season 5 is so bad. It's the reason this fucking sub exists.
I am a proper hipster. I moved on to A Song of Ice and Fire. You know, that is the subreddit. I moved on to around season 3 when I was complaining about they did Stannis wrong. Stannis was one of my most favourite interesting characters. They did him wrong.
He survived the Siege of Storm's End, going down to eating boot leather and book-binding glue.
Yeah.
Oh no, Sir fucking idiot of House 20 Goodmen has just raided our camps. Let's burn my daughter, who, like, Stannis' entire character is about duty, and his daughter is his duty. There's so many
Season
quotes.
5 is Sand Snakes. Season 5 is Sand Snakes. I'm done. Season 5 is the worst. You've convinced me.
Yeah. I mean, the Sand Snakes is so annoying as well, because the storyline is actually in the books, and it was in the books when they were writing season 5, and it's fucking awesome. And it's very pro-woman as well. It's very
progressive.
I can't think. Progressive, that's the word.
Yeah.
They're not fighting to avenge a dude. They're fighting for their own goals.
They're interesting characters.
They're fighting because in Dorne, females that are older than males get inheritance advantage. I can't remember the word for that either.
True.
But in the rest of Westeros, a younger male would have succession over an older female. So that's why they're fighting. But now, no, we just want to avenge dude who got his head exploded. It's so much worse.
I'm the evil woman now.
They fucked up Doran Martell too. Like that was another thing. Like his character was just so much less interesting.
You want the good writing, but you get the bad pussy. Kill me now.
Oh god.
Season 5 is the worst. Don't even at me, or do, and I'll argue with you all fucking night.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear, because I think you've convinced me in season 5, but I will argue Game of Thrones shittiness till the end of time. It makes me so salty.
I would be arguing it's just pure garbage from maybe season 4 onwards. I would say
season 8 was bad, but it didn't kill my passion for the show. That was burned alongside Shireen. That killed my passion for the show, and I loved Game of Thrones until then. I hated the Sand Snakes, but I stuck with it. Then they character assassinated my boy Stannis, the Manis, the true fucking king of Westeros.
I know. I completely agree with you.
I'm done. I stopped watching mid-episode, and it took me a couple of years before I went back and watched it. But passion was gone.
I followed the show until
what is dead can never die. See, bringing it round again. You killed my passion, so you can't kill it again.
Valorgate is talking some shit on Stannis in chat, which I kind of have to semi-agree, because he did burn the old gods and sell his people out to a red witch.
So this is the thing. Stannis is not a nice man, but he's an interesting character. In the show, he's just uninteresting.
He's a step beyond Ned of honor to the end.
He his
duty.
And all the evil that comes along.
Like they said in the books, Robert Baratheon was like steel. It was incredibly strong, but you could bend it. You could work with it. Stannis was like iron. If you bent it, it would shatter.
I disagree with that.
He is incredibly strong.
He's strong-willed.
I mean, it's what they say in the books.
Anyway,
no, that's it. Renly was like Renly.
Fuck Renly.
I think Robert was garbage.
Oh, they fucked up Renly too. My goodness. And also Jesus Christ, Renly. They did his sexuality. I've got to rant about this, and maybe it'll annoy some people. But they did his sexuality completely wrong. It's an interesting facet of his character. He's not. He's a gay character in the books, right? And he's an interesting character, and like everyone else who's gay, an interesting, fully fledged character, and being gay is part of the person, right? In the show, he's just gay. He's not interesting, and it's basically that is his character. They've just his character is his sexuality.
There should be more to a person than just who they find attractive.
Well, and they did similar things to a lot of characters, like just boiling them down to one aspect and making that who they were.
But I just think it's so insulting to boil someone down to just their sexuality. I think that's not acceptable. I thought, I mean, people seem to just ignore that.
Definitely, Renly is really interesting, and the fact that his homosexuality was not an overt thing. We knew about it in the books because people made jokes about it at his expense. That doesn't mean it wasn't walking around going la di da. I'm a homosexual. It was
we're gonna have
absolutely, and not only that, but we also wrote out the other prominent gay character, which was old Griff, who's had a fantastic, interesting relationship with Rhaegar,
who they also wrote out.
He was completely wrote out. Yeah, of course they wrote out. Yeah. Fucking hell.
Anyway,
we'll
see how much of this Game of Thrones tangent actually makes it into the final edit, but you guys can say you were here.
So this isn't going on all the relevant places. All right, fuck D&D then. Speaking of D&D, I've been playing D&D recently. I played my first 3 little one-shots of D&D, like nice. Dungeons and Dragons D&D. Let's move it on to something good.
It's fun, D&D.
It's awesome. I love it.
It is good.
I love it. I played first as a dwarf fighter, and I've played as a half-elf. What was I? I wasn't a sorcerer. I was a paladin, and then I played as a half-elf sorcerer, and nice. I've loved it. It's been fantastic, and we're going to play on Friday as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah. No, I play every week. My friend hosts a game. Lily Heron. Shout out. If you like Magic the Gathering, she does that sort of things. She's my friend, so I don't watch any of her stuff. But she's... and I'm not interested in Magic the Gathering, but if you like Magic the Gathering, check out my friend's stuff.
I've also started watching Critical Role from the start, so...
Good luck. Yeah.
I need it.
That's a
chungus. People have been talking about this. And I look, each of these episodes is 3 hours long. There's over... fuck.
Well, before we get out of here, other than D&D, Lambert, anything relevant to the listeners of this show that you've been up to lately?
So I've been doing a Warhammer 2 campaign with Vespasian, friend of mine, it's a head-to-head, and that's going really well. And we play that once a week, I think every Tuesday. This weekend, we'll be playing some EU4 Emperor. Groogy is hosting a multiplayer, and I'm going to be taking part in that. It's over. I'm going to be streaming on my channel, but it's going to be on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah,
for
same here.
6 hours a day. Oh, you're playing as well. Awesome.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure I'm going to do both days though.
Right. Yeah, it's a pretty big commitment. 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
And.
I don't have a life, so I'm sorted. I'm under lockdown, so I can't go to the pub. So there's nothing better to do.
And also been playing a bit of Sparta in Imperial Rome. So
same here.
All that's good stuff on my channel, Lord Lambert, on YouTube, if you want to go and have a look at that.
Nice. Whoever's cat that is in the background, what have you been up to? What's bothering you today?
I think that's mine.
I do hear. I hear an upset cat. Well, not necessarily upset, but I want to do a
nice shiny cat. Cat that wants attention.
Loris, what have you been up to?
Cats always do.
Want to shout out?
Yeah, I've been doing some work. I've been working on a project still, commissions and all that. Just been doing that and playing some video games. I'm also doing Groogy's stream this weekend. So that should be fun, playing Castile.
I'm playing as England. Do you want an alliance?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you stay Catholic.
For now.
Of course. You have to stay. Everyone has to stay Catholic.
No. I mean, Anglican is basically Catholic, right?
In 1444, England had every intention of staying Catholic. So I'm going to say yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Aldra, what have you been up to lately, and where can people find your stuff?
You can find me on Aldrahill, Twitch or YouTube, and I've been playing. I'm kind of gearing up for Emperor, so I've been kind of winding down a couple other things. I was playing Civ and doing some Imperator Sparta. Been focusing on writing a book recently, so I've been a bit crap with YouTube. But
oh wow, what's the book about?
Oh god, historical fiction. But
okay.
I'm glad it was like that. I'm glad it wasn't like a rotten or something. That would have been a little bit awkward.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. Yeah,
nice.
That's cool.
Think Hornblower and zombies.
Okay, I would definitely read
that. Yeah. Have you ever read Mr. Norrell? Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Oh, there's a very short bit of a book where he goes and fights in the Napoleonic Wars, and it's amazing because it adds zombies and it's Napoleonic.
To my list.
But it's only like a few paragraphs.
I've only seen the TV adaptation, but I actually really liked it, so I should go read the books at some point.
Yeah, to be fair, it was a pretty good TV adaptation. Unlike Game of Thrones. Bam, bringing it back.
And one more thing about
topic
Game of
already.
Yeah. Agamede saying historical erotica with zombies. Did I hear that right? Yes, that's exactly what he said.
Exactly correct.
No, nailed it.
That's the title, actually, yeah.
I mean, that would sell.
It's just a necromancer flying through history, time traveling through history, raising zombies and fucking them.
I love it. It's perfect.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah.
So what era is it? I guess Hornblower and Napoleonic.
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 It's the height of Napoleonic, yeah. It actually starts at the beginning of the Napoleonic Wars. Or the show does, anyway.
For some reason, I was thinking that was 17. I guess Napoleonic Wars did start in the 1700s. So, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. 1797 is the beginning of the series, which is the second coalition war.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So good.
Yeah.
And Sharp.
Robert Lindsay's
Sharp.
From my family.
As
and Gallivant. Yeah, you have to watch that too.
Yeah, as always, you can find me on Twitter at AsaTJ. That's ASATJ. I'm back streaming 3 times a week on Lore Sworn Order here on Twitch. We've been playing some Warhammer 2, but probably will be transitioning pretty heavily into EU4 once Emperor comes out. For our strategy streams, which are Sundays and Mondays, and then Wednesday nights, so about an hour after this podcast ends, we're doing DM and I are doing currently we're playing Dark Souls, but it's more of kind of like a podcast. Come hang out with us, grab a drink, and we'll just talk about whatever we feel like talking about from the week. So it's partly a Let's Play and partly a podcast is kind of how I've been pitching it to people. So yeah, you can join us for that as well. And of course, follow us, NoCB, on SoundCloud, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes, Twitch. Thanks to Agamede, I do have all of the video episodes ready to go up on YouTube. I just need to type out descriptions and stuff for them. So that'll be up shortly. I know I've said that over and over again, but the amount of work I have left to do has never been lower. Yeah, and all that good stuff. Aldra, thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You guys definitely check out his stuff.
Yes.
And we'll talk to you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
Ta.